Believe I am now live on YouTube as well. Make sure this is working. Everything is recording. Hello. Welcome. This is not an installment of the dirty work. This is just a live video. I'm testing different formats as always. And I am now properly set up to stream on both Instagram and YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I'm using StreamYard here for YouTube, and I'm using just my Instagram on another phone here, just my cell phone live. What's up, guys? Welcome. This is an exciting live. Not the dirty work. I tried to do the dirty work for 30 days alongside my workout while traveling internationally, and I could say that was honestly a fail. So I do want to change the format of how I'm presenting information. I do like the dirty work. Daily, I think it gets kind of redundant, maybe overkill. Maybe I'll do it daily again. I don't know. But I have to kind of find my rhythm for that. I've been talking over with my team how much I should be working on social media and what would be like my posting schedule. So for these live broadcasts, I'm going to probably do them twice a week. I'm going to do my usually produced content on Sundays, my typical releases, whatever that may be. I usually concentrate on real estate, travel, investing in some kind of way, business, home health care, that sort of thing. And I'll rotate through those topics as I navigate life. But then my two lives are going to be kind of split between the dirty work, which is just that entrepreneurial advice and really walking you through how I think and what I'm doing. Of course, allowing for Q&A. But my other live, like the live I'm doing today, is going to cover more in depth the topic of the week. So this week, I did a post on retiring early, how to retire in just 3 months with $10,000. And that's just a kind of short overview to give you an idea of what I'm doing and what I'm thinking. But this live is to go a little deeper into that topic and, of course, allow for that open exchange. And I think since I do cover a wide range of topics, people who are interested in one particular area that I'm covering may find it useful to have a live, on a weekly basis to check in. I would like to keep the questions in the Q&A portion for the lives to the topic of the week when it's a live that's done on Wednesday. And when I do my dirty work live, which is most likely going to be on Thursdays, that's going to be the free-for-all where people could ask any question at any time, not at any time, but any question in the question and answer portion without being consistent with what the topic was of the dirty work, right? Once again, it allows people who aren't, in tune with what I'm doing for the week to ask their particular questions and not get blocked out in that way. So that's going to be the format. I've had some time to allow people to come on. It's now 3 minutes into the video, so we'll start. So today's video is all about leaving the USA and living what I believe to be the real American dream, not only by being in this country and being financially prosperous, but the American dream of really going where you want and blazing your own trail. The way that I always, I guess, looked at America and that dream was that oh, cool. Thanks. I'm just seeing my comments now. Yeah, everything sounds good. I'm not sure if it's my phone. Okay, so sound is good. Glad that you guys cleared that up. Try to log out and log back in if you're having sound issues. I might sometimes solve it on Instagram. But this week, I'm talking about focusing on living that American dream. And early settlers of the United States were looking for opportunity for themselves. They were the ones who were willing to get on a boat for months, move their life to a place where they had no idea what was going to happen, new diseases, new people, different language sets, all kinds of uncertainty, and they did it anyway. A lot of people died along the way. A lot of effed up things happened in that practice. But for those who were the early movers and the ones who are willing to shake up their lives in that way, they really stood to benefit significantly. And whether that was economically or new start in life, a lot of the people were down now. A lot of immigrants who come to the country are coming for enhanced opportunities. So that American dream is still very much alive for people who are here. I think people who are born in the US, myself included, I was born here, my parents were born in Haiti. People who are born here almost get rocked to sleep in this comfort that is America. We get taught that America is the best country on the planet, and in many ways it is. In many ways, it's definitely not. But we get taught that, and we get taught that the world is scary, and the world is poor, and the world is so far behind us, and the best that you can do is here. That may be true in regards to living a basic life. You could be pretty mediocre and live a pretty high quality of life in the US compared to being mediocre in a country like Brazil, and your quality of life may be a little lower, or being mediocre in Haiti and your quality of life is going to be trash. So that sense of comfort makes people kind of stay here and not venture out into the world and not even realize their maximum potential, right? Even if you go out of this country into a new country to try to establish it yourself or just freaking change it up, there's so much that you're going to learn about yourself in that moment. And there's so much that you're going to learn about being in uncomfortable situations that you will become life lessons that you could pass on to your children, that you could pass on to your family. We get little tastes of that when we travel. For those of us who travel, those of us who are comfortable leaving the country to even go somewhere new, you get these eye-opening experiences. And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. So imagine what happens when you immerse yourself in a new culture for a year, 2 years, 5 years. How do you evolve? How do you change? How do you gain perspective? What changes about what you've been taught about your nation, your race, your religion, your sex, your sexual preference, all of these things that may be completely conceptualized differently in another country? You're going to be faced with a counterpoint, and then you can start to decide for yourself rather than what you've been taught. And on my channel, we mostly talk about real estate, business, making money, seeing the world, my other interests and hobbies. And I made this channel really for myself and other ENTPs, and then for other people who may be interested in what I was doing, just so I had like quick reference points to redirect to people who may be interested in those things. What's up, guys? Welcome. So that's what is happening on this channel. But really what excites me in life is possibilities. And with the world as big as it is, and at the same time as small as it is, since we're able to travel to everywhere quickly, I feel like it's my responsibility to see as much of the world as possible, to enrich myself as much as possible before my time in this realm, dimension, or stream of existence pivots or changes. And I felt like it's kind of my responsibility to talk to people who feel the same way, talk to people who may have not felt that way, and maybe ignite something in them to kind of test themselves and push themselves a bit. And I've always felt this way, ever since I was a kid. And I think most people do. This is a common feeling that people have. You're in history class, you're 4, 5, 6 years old, you're learning about whatever it is that they're teaching you in your country or in your region. And you're wondering, wow, what is it like in China? What is it like in Japan? What is it like in France? You're learning about Alexander the Great and his conquest. You're learning about Genghis Khan. You're learning about Egypt. You're learning about South America. You're learning about all these cool things. And as an imaginative kid, you start fantasizing about what your life would be like there. Everybody has gone through that. And somehow, as we age, those dreams get stripped away and we get conditioned and kind of funneled towards working in the machine that is our society or our economic system or our fiefdom or whatever system you're working in, or your commune if you're in a communist country. And those dreams fade, and somehow we grow old, grow miserable, and many times die unhappy. And for me as a kid, I wanted to see the world, and I got to a point where I was always traveling a lot, and I was always doing things. I can't say that I was like living this 9 to 5 life that people need to break free from. I've been entrepreneurial since I was 14. I was also working jobs. I always knew that wasn't for me, but I found myself kind of following the social path. And what's up, Randy? Following the social path. What's going on, Jason? My little brother's on here. Welcome. And I found myself on that path, and it didn't feel good to me. And every time that I would go away, I would get reminded of like what I'm doing wrong by being in this game that I'm in. And then I started to make those decisions of, you know what, I don't want to live just in the US. I think the first time I thought about living internationally was after going to Thailand. Like going to Mexico was cool. Going to Dominican Republic was cool. These are like vacation destinations in our backyard here in the US, especially on the East Coast. Easy to go to Cancun or in the West Coast too, going down to Cabo and down that peninsula that shoots off of California, Southern California. So Mexico's is completely kind of native to the American, Canada as well, as far as international destinations are concerned in the Caribbean. And I would looked at those places and said, yeah, it would be cool to live here. But it was Thailand that really turned things upside down for me, because it was being in a monarch ruled country, being in a country that had never been colonized, which was kind of cool, a Buddhist country, which has different religious basis than my Western experience, which is mostly Christian or even on the monotheistic path of Judaism, Christianity, Islam, those three major religions that all kind of have the same root. And I was like, wow, it'd be pretty cool to live here. And I also saw how far the dollar goes in that economy. And that's what really started to like wake me up. And I was like, well, I could live this really luxurious lifestyle at a fraction of the price of a luxurious lifestyle in the United States. And that's kind of where the idea to really push it and live globally started. Since then, I've always had my eye out whenever I travel. I always check out the real estate, always check out the prices, always check out what would be the restrictions, if any, of land ownership. What does it cost to lease, etc. And then I started to work on getting a footprint in other countries. Started with Colombia, and then as a trialing an Airbnb business, which failed. And then it became Italy. And just this last week, those of you who've been watching my stories and my feed, you know that I was in Brazil. Now, this was probably my 4th or 5th time in Brazil. I think maybe my 4th. Maybe, yeah, 4th or 5th. I don't know, something like that. And I went to Brazil for the first time in January of 2019. And I get that way, where if I go someplace and I like it, I kind of go there like in series, month, 2 months, 3 months later, because I need to keep consuming that information from those places. So last year I went there in January. Then I went back in for the soccer tournament. Then I went back in August. And I don't think I went back again after that. Maybe I did. I think I may have gone back in like the fall. And I was learning the language, learning how to speak Portuguese, using the app Pimsleur, learning more about the different cities. And I really came to love that culture because, again, it's very familiar as an America's country, but very different in that it's one of the few surviving colonies of the Portuguese Empire. It's a 220 plus million person country. Like Brazil is huge, and I don't think people even realize how robust of a country and how robust of an economy Brazil is. I think it's kind of forgotten in a way. So it's got all these cool things going on. Crazy landscapes, the Amazon forest, the oddities of the Portuguese language, a mixture of European, African, and indigenous culture. It's pretty freaking cool. And I decided that I want to make Brazil one of the places that I highlight here on the channel and that I also acquire a property in. So this trip was more about discovering some of the other neighborhoods. So we most people in the world, when they think Brazil, they're gonna think Sao Paulo, and definitely they're gonna think Rio de Janeiro. I probably Rio de Janeiro more than Sao Paulo. They're gonna think of Christ the Redeemer. They're gonna think of City of God, the movie. They're gonna think of the models. They're gonna think of the Copacabana landscape. They're gonna think of Carnival, and most likely in Rio de Janeiro. And Sao Paulo, just because it's one of the largest cities in the world. So I wanted to kind of show a little more of. I wanted to show the familiar, and I'm going to be showing a little more of kind of where Brazilians go and what they like and what they enjoy in their own country. That's not so popularized here in the States. And I wanted to show what real estate cost in those areas. What do Airbnbs cost if you're just traveling? What does the lifestyle cost? How much? What is your earning potential when you are in Brazil? If you're going to work as a local, how much do you need? How much can you make? If you're making money through retirement or through your investment activities in the United States, what sort of lifestyle would you have in Brazil if you were to make that home? Previously on the channel, I already talked about Colombia is going to be one of the places that I call home. And you guys know that I'm doing my project in Italy, another place that I'd be calling home. And ideally, I would spend time in those countries during what would be considered their peak times. So going down to Brazil for the month of Carnival would probably be pretty dope. Going to Colombia in the end of August or maybe around Christmas time, because that's a big holiday for them, might be pretty cool. Same thing in Italy, maybe going in August as well. August is a big holiday month in all of Southern Europe, all of Europe actually, and kind of spreading my time between those different environments with different people, different foods, different customs. To me, that's the ideal life. But in going to Brazil, I had to take some time off from my usual work routine, which is freaking fantastic because it tends to be nonstop between real estate investing, home health care, starting up new companies. It's grueling doing the social media stuff. And when I was there, I was trying to keep with the pace, and I just said, F it. I'm going to just chill. Let me just like unwind, unplug, and stop pushing so damn hard and taking life for a little bit. Even though I'm down there filming and looking for real estate, I was just like, let me do more to enjoy myself. So though that series is coming out in November, starting the editing now. So we got an interview with Yusuf Watif. He's got a YouTube channel. I did a video with him before. So I interview him. He's been living in Brazil now 5 years. He also runs an expat relocation service for people looking to relocate from the US to Brazil, or even the UK to Brazil. I met some of his friends, people who transplanted, got to hear their stories. I interviewed him. We toured Sao Paulo. So I got some footage of that, what you could come to expect in that city. I have footage of Copacabana, Búzios, Cabo Frio, and the different grades of properties that you could get, the different Airbnbs that I stayed in. So that's going to be probably for the month of like November, December, filling in and talking about that. So that's exciting stuff. So when you're thinking about leaving the USA, I think for most people, the first thought is, how am I going to make money? Right? Especially when you're thinking about leaving young, right? When you think about leaving, like as a 21-year-old, you might be reckless. It used to being broke anyway. You got a backpack. You're gonna, live in hostels, $7 a night. You'll figure it out. But that's not me. I'm not even at that phase in my life anymore. And then you think about people who go and relocate for retirement. People 65, 67, 70 years old. They move down to Panama, Costa Rica, these other retirement hubs in the world, and they're old. I mean, no offense to anybody who's in that age range, but you're old. Your body's different. You're most likely can't party the same way. You can't hike the same way. Or maybe have long-term chronic conditions that you feel more secure with your U.S. healthcare system, or you need a healthcare system that you could count on, and you're not sure what international healthcare systems are like. So I'm not really speaking to that audience either. I'm speaking to people like me. I'm turning 38 this year, and people who are typically in my age are recently married, have some young children. Unfortunately, not that there's anything wrong with owning a home, but they end up being, oh my God, like trapped by these material possessions of home ownership, automobiles, student loan debt, personal finance debt, all kinds of things to keep them in the system. And that's just why the system's designed that way, is to keep you in, keep you working, keep you paying taxes, keep the money moving. So when you buy into the American dream, which I can't stand, which is why my program is called Killing the American Dream, that program where I teach you how to invest in 1 to 4 family real estate. Side note, I guess commercial in my own video, doing a webinar the first week of November, talking about my Invest and Learn program, how you can invest alongside me if you're interested in something like that, to do flips, make money, learn the trade, that sort of thing. So look out for announcements as we build up towards that. But I call it Killing the American Dream because I wanted to help people break from that cycle, that thinking of go to college, take on that student loan debt, get the nice car, get the nice house, get married, all these step-by-step things, and this is success in life. And then they're trapped by their debts from 30 to 65, then they retire. And like I said, you're too old to really enjoy the end of your life. You're potentially sick, those sort of things. I wanted to kill that version of the American dream. I want to kind of speak to the explorers of the world, speak to the middle-aged people like me who are trying to change the world, change things up. So yeah, that's essentially who I'm speaking to, and trying to teach you guys that there is a pathway to freeing yourself from that machine and potentially living an international life. And it's not that expensive. I think 65% of the world, I'd like to say it this way, 65% of the world, you live a really good life at $2,000 US per month. What I mean by pretty good life, you have a comfortable 3 to 4 bedroom apartment or house in a nice neighborhood, in like the better neighborhoods in that particular country or city. You could go out for dinner on the weekends. You could have a hired helper, maid, nanny, that sort of thing. That's, helping you manage your kids, manage your life, laundry, food shopping, food prep, those sort of things. For $2,000 to $2,500, you could do that in 65% of the world. I would say the entire South America and most of Central America, probably. Yeah, I would say so, because even in Panama, you can make it work. Mexico for sure. So you could live that life. You could even live it in the United States if you play it smart. At $2,500 a month, you take it up to like $3,500 a month. You've gotten the middle class life in around 85% of the world, right? That's pretty much excluding all the world big cities like London, New York, LA. 3,500, you could get by on 3,500, but it won't be the same lifestyle that I was talking about. So when I speak about this early retirement thing, I'm kind of looking at the 65 to 70% of the world that you can do it for 2,500. And obviously you could do it anywhere in the world as long as you're willing to push that passive income a little further and invest in that. I think in most places in the world, $10,000 a month clean covers it. New York City, $10,000 a month doesn't really do it. But if you were living in New York City, renting out a 3-bedroom at $6,000 a month, and you had an extra $4,000 for discretionary spending, that could do it if you're single. And you wouldn't need a 3-bedroom if you were single with no kids, but those things are achievable, even the $10,000 a month, if you design your life properly. And that's some of the things that I really want to make sure that I hit right on the channel, is how to design your life so that you're making money, not that because your whole life is about making money, but that you're making money in the most passive ways possible, so that your time is free to do what you want, and that you have the capital to do pretty much what you want, right? I have much larger financial requirements because my ideas of what I want to do with my free time are pretty outrageous, to be honest. But sometimes I flirt with the idea of just saying, F all of this. Right now, I'm totally fine. I could stop all my work and just live off of my rental income, live off of my earnings from my home care company, trade as I normally trade. I could put up anywhere from $800 a day trading to $8,000, $10,000 a day. So I have the capacity to live really nice however I want. It's just that there's a few things that I want to accomplish. But I'm actually going to go through some of these questions so far, if there's any. I see people checking in and out of Instagram as usual. Hello. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to start going through some of those now. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some strategies and things that I'm seeing in those countries. Failure is key to success. Yeah, it teaches you a lot. Great job, no fails. Carl never fails. I fail often, dude. I fail more than I win, actually. It's just that in my failures, I don't just let myself get completely wiped out. I can survive the wipeout, but you need to kind of fail quickly, accept that failure, learn from it, and make the changes, right? You need to go through that kind of validated learning process and accept those failures. Some people who don't succeed just can't accept that they're doing something wrong. You have to admit that you're making a mistake in order to grow from that. So I would like to think I never fail. It's just that when I win, I tend to try to win bigger. It's almost like my trading strategy. I don't risk more than 5% loss in a position that I'm in. And I usually aim to make 10% or more on a trade. So even if I'm wrong half of the time, I'm still up net 5% on my average trades. And on my real big winners, I might be up 15, 20, 50% out. Those sort of transactions happen. And those outlier events push me further and further along. So when I have one business that I started for $25,000 that fails, and another business that I start that makes $500,000 a year that wins, I could have 20 failures before I hit that mark, right? And then I'm at even. So I could have one win and 20 losses and 20 failures, and that one win balances me out. The following year, maybe I make 750,000, $1 million, or whatever. And that's everybody who's successful. Whenever you're looking at it externally, it seems like they just keep winning. The losses are never celebrated unless you're freaking a scammer, and when you fail, it's it's great that people get to see you freaking crash and burn because you've been screwing people over. Julie Elizabeth, I just joined. Where are you moving to? I'm moving throughout the world. I don't have a particular place that I'm going to only be. Right now, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. This will probably be my There we go. Let me just make sure that's still. Yeah. I have to have the record button on for my camera to work like this. Yep. So Fort Lauderdale is my U.S. base for now, uh, and Fort Lauderdale, I think, is conveniently located because it's like the midpoint between New York City and Colombia, which is another place that I decided I'm going to live. Brazil's another place. Italy is on the list. Greece, France, Spain is on the list. Um, I'm a product of the United States, so I've always romanticized like those Western European countries. I need to get into the African countries to see what those are like. I like Thailand as a country, so I may have something there, like that Southeast Asian Pacific Island or Indian Ocean sort of countries. Hot, I prefer those warm countries. Um, so that's what I've decided so far. It's my little brother and his wife. Look at that. How cute. Professor Cutie Pie, Italy. Italy is one of them. But I get so bored with things so quickly. I need the change. So it may be Sicily for a while, then it may be Northern Italy, then it may be, Barcelona, maybe Canary Islands. I don't know. I'll bounce around. My main squeeze. Yes, leaving your country takes I guess you completely out of your comfort zone, and you learn so much. I totally recommend it. She relocated from Venezuela to the United States, and that's been quite a ride. So, um, I've watched it. I've watched her growth. I watched her change and evolve, and what she's learned, and how much different our country is from her native country. And I think it's just admirable. It's the same journey that my parents were on. So thank you for your comment. I moved to Japan for a year 21 years ago. It was the best year of my life. Uh, I don't know what that word is. I highly recommend it. You are buying in Italy. I will be living half the year there. I am buying. Oh, Julie's buying in Italy. Awesome, awesome. Um, yeah, and I'm glad. You see, like 21 years ago, you had the best year of your life. What's been happening between the past 21 years and this move to Italy? I'm just curious. Like, share it if you want. But people have those moments where, like, I had such a good life or such a good year, and then I'm in the rat race for 20 years. Where did I go wrong? Like, it's I can't live with that feeling for too long without being angry and just not a pleasant person to be around. And I don't want to be that guy. Garrett Gross says, wow, big decision. I've been getting the same urge lately and considering alternative countries. Do it, man. You know what the good part is about when you leave the United States? Right? And you're an American citizen or you have residency here. Guess what? You could come back and do what the hell you were doing before you left. You could come back and get a job at working at Amazon. If you really need to, you could hop in an Uber, get a car, and start driving people around. You start making money again until you figure yourself out. You're not going to just die, right? They're not going to just tell you you're no longer welcome because you decided to live a few years out of the country. That hasn't happened yet. So take advantage of your U.S. birthright, travel the world, use your U.S. credit, and figure it out. And if you didn't figure it out, you come back to the safety of your motherland and say, hey, I tried that. Didn't work out as well as I thought. Maybe I needed more money. Maybe I needed more language sets. Maybe I needed something else, more credit. And when you feel that you're ready to take the plunge again, you do it again. So it's not as a big step as you think. I think we make it out to be that way. Our society kind of like, wow, that's huge. But I think man, buying a $600 plane ticket, taking a 10-hour flight somewhere, a few $1,000s in your bank account, you could figure something out in a few months and decide if it's for you or not, and not totally displace your life. Many of us have lost jobs due to layoffs, firing, quit, finding another one. So when you're looking for work, you tend to find it. I mean, unemployment rates were extremely low. Um, you could find work in this country, man. It's a lot different than others. Miss Ray. Miss Ray Ray. Okay, Miss Ray Ray. Congrats! I found you when I was trying to buy a dollar house in Italy. Unfortunately, this year I can't go. I opted not to, but hopefully I can next year. Will you continue this series, the dollar home series? Yeah, man. I got some good stuff coming up. I'm actually renovating one of my properties now. And I've kind of shared some snippets of that on my feed somewhere, either Instagram or YouTube. So I'll be showing that progress, like in renovations. I'll be doing a final reveal. I'll be doing how I'm monetizing that place on Airbnb, and then I have the one that I bought for 5,000 euros. My Italian tiny house, which is about 350, 400 square feet, corner unit. Actually love that little house. I like smaller places. And I'm going to be showing that same process too, renovating it, turning it into a vacation rental. And when I get the freaking chance to travel to Italy again, I'll be filming that, kind of showing a little more of the country, hopefully going out there with my family or friends or somebody, to see what that's like, and document it. So of course, also one of the properties next door to me, I already negotiated a dollar deal on that. I was gonna buy it, but then I was just like, I already have two properties, man. Now I'm gonna get a third one over there. I haven't even finished my first two. I was starting to get a little crazy, with the idea of picking up these properties for so damn cheap. So I haven't gotten it yet, but it's a good property next door. Got a great view. I would say it probably needs like 30 grand worth of work. So it would be about a $30,000 all in deal. I was thinking about just turning it into my shop room or my shop house, just so I can build things when I'm there. But I'm going to be there, a few weeks to a month, a year. So I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea for me. Cool. At Julie, where are you buying in Italy? I'm searching near Lago di Garda. Um, cool. I got to look into that. Sheldon Fisher. Welcome, man. That's one of my boys for, I think, over 20 years now, or close to 20 years, maybe like 18 years. No, yeah, more than 20, actually. Yeah, because it was in high school. So that's more than 20 years. Thanks for checking in. Julie, try to get a plane. Okay. I'm just going through these questions. Let me see. Do I have any questions on Instagram? Make sure I'm not. No. Oh, yes, maybe. Uh, okay, here's an Instagram question. Oh, there's a few of them. Sorry for the neglect. What do you think of Airbnb cottages? A cottage is around 400K outside of Toronto. I think the prices for real estate in Canada are freaking stupid from what I've seen. Toronto, Vancouver, I see the prices are pretty outrageous based on compared to what you could earn on them. But you're gonna have to give me a little more context on how much you think you could rent out that Airbnb cottage for if you paid 400K for it. What's your mortgage going to be like? Is it going to be a cash deal? What, pretty much the rate of return is what's going to drive my decision and say, is it a good deal or not? Another question from Instagram. What's your advice to realtors that want to become investors? Educate yourself with my course, ENTP Life Killing the American Dream. I even did a video on how realtors don't know how investors think. and you really need to think like an investor and change your perspective. The good thing about being a realtor, you'll understand comps, you'll understand navigating MLS, understand how to determine where markets are going. You know what buyers are looking for. You understand the buyer mindset. You know the sales process. So that part shouldn't be so scary for you. So what you're going to need to learn is how to properly identify value, how to price renovations, and ultimately strategies to find low cost or investor grade properties. So, you have a one up since you are a realtor. That it's helpful, because you already have learned a few things. I am Myrma Frazier. Okay. Hi, Carl. I've been following you for a while. I'm moving to New York. I'm moving from New York to North Carolina, and I want to start a staffing agency before I get there. Before you get there, okay? I'll be there in December. What would your advice be for starting before? Um, how can I start it from New York and run it successfully before I arrive? Ooh, that's a loaded one. Um, you're going to be staffing. I guess you're going to be staffing in North Carolina, or you're going to be staffing in New York. Either way, incorporate yourself. General liability insurance. If you're going to be doing healthcare, get malpractice insurance. Uh, Workers' compensation insurance for whatever state you're in. Link up with whoever your payroll provider is going to be. Typically, it's going to be ADP or Paychex. Get all those things organized. Then you're going to need to recruit whatever staff you plan on placing at the same time that you're coordinating with human resource departments or whoever you're going to be staffing to. You could get started before you go. I just think if it's your first time, it's going to take you time to kind of spool that together. I've even thought about doing a course on how to start a nursing agency or staffing agency. I think I could probably teach that in 5 hours. So like probably a 5-episode course. But it's doable. It's just that you just need to know what you're doing, right? If it were me, I'd probably be able to spool it up in 2 or 3 months and get started because I've done it before and I know the space. But for someone who's new and it's your first time, I think that's going to be a little daunting, especially if this is your first business. These sort of things, for me, I could get a business off the ground in about 2 weeks time, from incorporation to getting all my insurance squared away, making sure my contracts are in place. I could get started in about 2 weeks to at least have the framework to do my business. But I think I'm probably going to do in North Carolina. Yeah, but Amrit Singh, how much are you going to be? I don't care if it's booked all year round. How much are you going to make? 400K, it's booked all year round. What is going to be 100% booked? It's going to be 65%. You're charging 200 a day, 500 a day, 100 a day. All those things matter. In North Carolina is where you want to start. So you want to start it in advance before you getting there. It's going to be hard because then you're going to do all your recruiting on Zoom or something like that. You're going to be building your business totally virtually, right, on the phone and from home. I think that's going to be a hard deal to do. Is it doable? Yes, of course you can. But as a first go, I don't want to kind of tell you, pump you up, and it's not going to be that simple. Some things are easy. I feel like starting an Airbnb business is pretty easy. Starting an equipment lease building business where you get equipment that's being leased in high volume, like dumpsters or I don't know, tow trucks, things like that. When you start in things like that, that's kind of easy because there's such a demand. There's platforms that you could use. But in staffing, it's a little different because you need to build relationships. So those take time. Ant N. I wouldn't mind relocating to Brazil either before turning 40. I bet the quality of life is better there than in the USA, especially now. Yo, and let me tell you something. The day I left Brazil, I had one. I was going out. I wanted to get some feijoada, which is like black beans and like a pork stew. Oh man, it's good. So I was cruising around for feijoada, and I came across, a restaurant that was serving it, and I ended up ordering a steak, rice, feijoada, French fries, a huge beer. Cost me $7 and like 50 cents at this restaurant. I would say the same meal here in the States might have cost me, I don't know, $40 for a similar, like if I went to like a similar restaurant, similar quality, like level, it probably cost me like 30 or $40. So, you're talking about living at a quarter of the price. I did a tour, there, you know, 3-bedroom apartment facing the beach, maybe $1,300-$1,400 a month. And this is in Copacabana. This could be in like in Baja Tijuca, which is near the Copacabana region, but 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, beachfront. You're talking about maybe 5,000 reais, 6,000 to as high as 10,000, which is still $2,000 a month in what would be like the equivalent of being on South Beach. So how much would that cost you here? 4,000, 5,000. So I would say cost of living is about a third, easily about a third of what it is in the US, to even a quarter. And it depends on how far you want to go. You could move a little deeper. You could get a studio apartment. You could get a studio apartment in Sao Paulo in a nice neighborhood, stable. No, not a crime. This is like more of an affluent, better neighborhood for $250 a month. 1-bedroom apartment, same price, 250. You can rent a house in like your average working, like the equivalent of a working class neighborhood. A house might run you, 300, 400 for a 2-bedroom house with a pool. That's what you get. So if you're gonna edge on luxury, like I said, you're gonna be beachfront, Copacabana. All right, you might pay 2,000 for your apartment, 2,500, something like that, for your apartment per month. But when you look at what the equivalent of that same location, same neighborhood, same style of building, you're looking at 6,000 a month for the same thing stateside. So Miss Ray Ray, what's stopping you from moving from to Paris? Would love that program, Killing American Dreams. Yep, sign up. You can sign up today. It's really, and it's inexpensive. You know what I mean? Like the draw for that for me is I'm able to teach people in detail how to invest in real estate. Independent learning, that's going to cost you $97 a month. I even don't care about that money. That's like my hosting money, that you whatever money. Lifetime membership for that course and any other course I do is $2,000 a month. That's kind of like to get your butt into gear, feel like you spent money that you need to recoup, because that's how I am. If I spent more money, I'm more likely to be like, I got to recover my money. And then I have my invest and learn option where you actually go in and deal with me. That starts at $10,000. And the beautiful part is that $10,000 goes directly into the deal, not to me, but to the deal. So you invest in that deal. We do the deal together. We split profits. You learn step by step. I'm doing a project now with my first group. We're about 2.5 weeks from completing that project. We should have it listed before Thanksgiving. And we're looking to potentially make about 80 to 100 grand on that when it's all said and done. So it's 5 investors. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I think 5 or 6, something like that. just not thinking about it clearly. It's like 5 or 6 people who are in on the deal, and they have their own different levels of how much they invested. And when we sell, they'll make money, and I make money on when the property flips, and that's how we all benefit. So I'm not trying to take people's money to teach them. I do a lot of free teaching right here on YouTube. It's just scattered between Italy, USA, home care, flying, all kinds of stuff. So this is for more focused, more condensed for that single purpose. So if you were thinking about it, I highly recommend you guys sign up. I made a course in a way that I wish I had it for myself. Let's see if there's any questions here. Da, 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 da. 9 to 5. You're damn right. 9 to 5 matrix is a freaking joke. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Okay, so the question back on Instagram. I'll read it. This is the gentleman or lady. I can't tell. I think it's seems to be a man. I agree with the Canadian housing prices. Toronto's definitely in a housing bubble right now, but housing bubble right now. What would you do in a situation with a bubble? Try to buy the best price properties as always. I try to get all my properties at 70% or less of market value. When I all in, I'd like to be at that number. In a market that's hot like that, you might do the best you could do is maybe 80%. Because that way, when the bubble bursts or the market corrects, like all markets do, if it does a normal correction of 15 to 20%, you're insulated. If it's a deeper pullback, like 30%, you're at break even already. So while other people are reeling and upset about their housing prices or the house being underwater, you already bought below market, so you could tolerate that pullback. That's kind of how I look at it. I never buy market properties. I just don't buy anything from market price. $2,100 for a 1-bedroom apartment in Toronto. That same $2,100 could pay for your whole family of 4 in Medellin, Colombia, and you're living exactly as you would be in Toronto for your whole family. $2,100. Just depends on living the way that makes you happy. If your hobbies and disposable income aren't expensive, then it's a win-win, of course. When am I moving? I am moving as soon as my partner gets her residency in the United States. So right now she's here on political asylum, so she can't leave the U.S. So I can't leave without her. You know, I mean, I'll be leaving her and my kid behind. Be a complete deadbeat if I did that. So that's what I'm waiting for. And I'll be back and forth in the U.S. because I mine my money here. You know, I get my money from the States, and there's no question about that. So I need to be present. I need to check on my businesses. I need to check on real estate transactions. I need to sometimes sign papers. So I'm back and forth. I'll be alternating between countries. And the cool thing is, she likes that too. She likes the flexibility of life and what life offers. So that's really what's holding us up. And plus this freaking virus. So I've been ready to go for the past 2 years. So it's been that long of a process. And as soon as they allow us out and her back in, then I'll start to make my moves. Have you ever invested in crypto? Okay, this is a question. I have never invested in cryptocurrency, and for the main reason that it seems to attract boneheads. I hate getting involved in things that everybody's kind of like the thing of the day. And I don't understand cryptocurrency. I know it functions basically the same as all currencies, which is BS. It's based on the trust that people have in that item, that coin, or that piece of paper, or the card that you stick into the machine. So with cryptocurrencies, I've never invested in them. I never traded them. Um, I think I think they're pretty volatile, and I think if you don't know anything about investing at all, that's not the place to start, because it's the wild, wild west. And if you can't rock with the Cowboys and you can't rock with the Indians, you're gonna get chewed up. So that's my take on crypto. But it follows the same rules of supply and demand that the stock market and all markets follow. And since I'm a primarily technical analysis trader, I could look at any coin chart and make a decision about where that market's going. No different than Forex. I've never traded Forex and I've never traded crypto, but the rules of supply and demand and the patterns that play out are virtually the same. I don't know how the leverage works in those markets, but no, not right now. Hi, Gianni. Hey, come to the Philippines, bring your family here. You could live comfortably here and easily become a billionaire because you're already a millionaire. Um, Expand on that, please. Like the Philippines, I've never visited as a country. I hear the traffic is freaking awful, and that would annoy me. Like I don't want to be in traffic for 2 hours. So that's something that I pay attention to is how bad is the traffic, because I'm not trying to deal with that. I need to be able to walk everywhere, at least, if that's going to be the case, or public transportation better be on point. But I'm not sitting in 2 hour traffic to move 2 miles. But I hear it's nice. My cousin's buying a place in the Philippines because he lives in Singapore, so he's been investing out there. When you're going to do another real estate video, do you do live videos when you're day trading? Okay, no, I don't do live videos when I'm day trading because I don't really day trade. I am more of a swing trader, meaning, and I'm looking at the wrong camera, meaning oh man, this is a long one. Just make sure I'm still filming here. Yep. So day trading, I did. I'll still put on an occasional day trade, like I did in Amazon today. I liked how it kind of retested the lows of last week. So I took a day trade on some options there. But day trading is now ruled by the algorithms, and I'm kind of an impulsive person, and I'm also pretty egotistical in that I need to always be right. It's ENTP problems. I need to be right, and I need to prove myself right and try to unlock puzzles. So with day trading, I found that I'm more likely to lose control in day trading than I am when I'm swing trading. I would much rather make a decision on an hourly to daily time frame than I would. Oh, Instagram later, guys. I'm not going to restart this one. Bam, that's out. So what was I saying? Yeah, so swing trading, I'm in for days to weeks at a time, right? So like right now, I just closed my screen, but right now I have Google long. I'm in some. What else am I in? Google, Adobe. I have the Nasdaq market ETF, the Qs long. I have DT long. I'm all long at this point, and I'm in those positions for days to weeks at a time, looking to make 5-10% pops. Um, so I'm not really a day trader. So I'll trade the morning session from 9:30 to 10 just to make adjustments. Sometimes 10 all the way up until 30 if the early morning is a little volatile to make adjustments. And then I'll kind of check in midday, see how the market's trading, and then at the end of the day, maybe close out some positions if I feel that they've reached their target or I don't like the market's behavior. So it's not like I'm sitting there day trading and just recording my screen and follow me and whatever. No, it's not like that. I just put on my trades, and I'm not. That's not my thing. That's my third highest income, and I love it. So I'll trade. I get to my office typically at 7 a.m. I'll go through some emails, get through some busy work, and then I will go to prep for my morning session, trade from 9:30 to 10:30, then back to my regularly scheduled work, right, which is freaking real estate emails and home healthcare stuff. But I love the market and I love trading. So it's not something that I like. I started talking about it because I saw, what I saw was a lot of amateurs getting involved, trading on Robinhood, trading with too little money. And I've been doing this for 11 years. So I wanted to be able to talk to newbies and maybe say, be careful with what you're doing. Let me show you what I know and how I approach things and that sort of thing. But I can't say that I'm like a, a profound teacher in trading. I think I can teach it to most people. I encourage people to learn, but that's not my focus here on ENTP Life. And I think 90% of traders fail. So I don't want to promote something that has such a high failure rate for people so that you could go around and say, oh, Carl's lying about his trading earnings or it's bull. I don't want to bring people down that road. I'll tell everybody who's trading, look, learning how to trade is going to take you maybe 6 months to learn like the movement of the market, chart patterns, earning cycles, option cycles, that sort of thing. To even just get the basics down, really be comfortable looking at a chart, etc. The rest of your trading journey is self-mastery. Understanding what takes you to the dark side, understanding what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong, how you behave when you're like, for me, always a problem. If I feel good, I take on more and more risk, more and more and more. I push more and more. And usually when I start getting to that cycle, I got a big loss around the corner. So sometimes I have to go, where are you at, Carl? You having a really good month? Scale back. Start liquidating positions. Go back to basics. Go back, look for the best in breed, wait for a pull in. And that's how I protect. But you got to learn that about yourself because you could lose your month in a day and then you're pissed off. So if you lose control. So you need to know what things lead you to the loss of control, what things lead you to stepping outside of your rules, because your rules are designed to ultimately keep you safe. See if I got a few more questions I can answer here. Julie plans on buying in the Ivory Coast. I was married when I moved to Japan. It was my dream to move there since. Well, thank you for sharing. Roberta Greenslade. What value can someone provide for you in exchange for mentorship? All right. Let me tell you something. I must get 5 requests a day about mentorship. The only way that I will mentor somebody, yourself included, is if we're doing a real estate deal together and you're invested with me. Why? Most people have this wild notion that mentorship is what they need because that's kind of what's talked about in business books and on podcasts. Oh, get a mentor, get blah, blah, blah. Oh, a person who's worth being your mentor is pretty damn busy. They know what they're doing, they know the value of their time, and they're busy. What is it about you in particular that's going to make me break time away from some activity that I could be making money on? Right? I trade for an hour a day. I might adjust my net worth by $10,000 in that day, right? In that hour session or the 2 hours that I spend looking at the market. Why am I going to take 2 hours out of my day to mentor you so you could be successful? In exchange for what? Self-gratification? I guess it could work, but then let's look at it one more way. People often get encouraged to do something, and when it's time for them to pull the trigger, when it's time for them to make the tough decisions, they just revert back to comfort. So I've tried to mentor people before, and they let me down. They let me down because they don't follow through on their statements. They break their schedules. I get excited about sharing what I know, and then they just fizzle out. So for me to eliminate that group of people that are like, oh, mentor me, mentor me, mentor me, is, put your money up and show me that you're real and doing a deal. Because now that your money is exposed, you better be paying attention, right? That's the way I am. It's like, geez, I got my money in this. I can't lose this. I got to watch it. I got to, you know. So if you want to be mentored in real estate specifically, you're going to have to be doing a deal with me. If you want to be mentored in staffing or home health care, then you're going to have to be using my software On Time, right? Which is my practice management tool for home health care and for staffing, right? You can manage your field workers that way. Why? Because I'll be having conversations with updates in the software, what to do, and our software is priced based on how many active employees you have or how many active patients you have. So your growth benefits me, right? That's a fair exchange. So I don't, when I get the mentoring question, and I'm sorry to like kind of go in on you like this, but when I get the mentoring question, I kind of roll my eyes because I know that most people who are seeking mentoring are just, it's like a cool thing to say, right? You want to get mentored, man, come here and work for me 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week for free. You'll learn in 6 months just shadowing me more than you, I guarantee more than you would have learned at any other job for freaking 5 years, just because of what I do, how I maneuver, etc. So there's no, and then I'm still going to have to give you time and attention. Make sure you're comfortable, make sure your desk is set up, make sure you have a phone, make sure your email's working, all of that. And you might fizzle out in a week, 2 weeks. Grandma died, all kinds of stories that come up. So I typically do not mentor unless we have some sort of common business. That's a cool story. Sharif, what's going on, man? I'm doing well. How about yourself? I'm just looking through these questions and I can't talk and read at the same time. I got like attention deficit disorder confirmed. So it's hard for me to kind of multitask. I don't do well with that. I could focus on one thing at a time, two things. I start to get distracted. Absolutely no mentoring and trading unless you're someone that's really close to me and I care about you. Um, and I do my videos here on trading. On real estate, you're gonna have to be in my Killing the American Dream Invest and Learn program. Um, that's that. Do I have a contact in North Carolina for what? I'm not sure what you're asking. So could you please clarify, Sienna? What sort of contact are you looking for? What are race relations like, especially for darker skinned people? I'm guessing you're asking in Brazil. Okay. I'm going to answer this in two parts. Number one, I am a black person in America. Because I am a black person in America, I've been raised in a racist institution. However, I've thrived in this racist institution. Maybe I had to work a little harder than others. Maybe I had to be a little smarter. I don't know. But I'm doing pretty well in this environment. I don't look at race being some sort of disability to me. I look at it as being other people's problems who have a problem with me. I don't have a problem with myself. Now, in America, because of our poor race relations and how people who look like me are portrayed in media, how people who look like me reinforce stereotypes, how people who look like me were systematically oppressed. It's harder to kind of make progress, but progress is possible. That's the United States scenario. Now, because I look at it this way, whenever I get race questions, again, it frustrates me because I don't let race is not something that's on the front of my mind. It's something that's in my mind because of my society. I live in this country, but it's not how I go about making my decisions. I don't think am I going to be accepted here because of skin color? Because the concept of that is already retarded. And that's no offense to people who may be labeled retarded or disabled or whatever. I know the term retarded is a bad word. Sorry. But I think this concept of racism is extremely something that's reserved to weak minded people, something that is a tool of the uneducated, tool of the weak, tool of the undercapitalized to dislike somebody because of genetic expression and melanin content. I think it's really dumb. So when I look at other countries and I look at, okay, am I being treated badly because of my race? I don't care. I know I'm in the top tier of earners in most places in the world. I don't care what anybody thinks about my race. Now, in Brazil is a colored country, if you want to call it that. A lot of people are of African descent. A lot of people are indigenous. There's a lot of indigenous Brazilians, and you see it in the people, hair texture, skin tone, that sort of thing, facial expressions, facial features. Then you have a large white population, and you have a lot of mixing. Because there's this connection between socioeconomic status and race, excuse me, in the colonial world, because slaves always had less, they weren't educated, they were, all sorts of things. They're at an economic disadvantage. And because they're at an economic disadvantage and an educational disadvantage, there's going to be always tension with that audience because of the have nots and the need to potentially take power by force or take assets by force because the design of their country favors those who are well capitalized and well educated, and that's not the brown people. That's just what happened in the colonial world. What I've noticed more in Brazil about race relations is that they're more classist than racist. However, the assumption is that you're of a lower class because the darker you are. That's just the way it is. But if you're in, an uppity area and you live there and you're known to live there and you're prominent, it starts to fade because what's more important is your status. It's similar to the US, but you're not going to have it's a different kind of hmm, it's a different kind of race relation. I would say it feels more mild than the states as far as feeling like feelings of inclusion. Like I said, I'm from here. I know what it feels like to be a black man in America. So it feels less like that because there's so many people who look and feel like you that you're not getting that odd treatment. But once you're that black dude who's in the upper class areas, you start to get kind of like those curious eyes as to, oh, what is he doing here, or does he work here, or does miss because your race is so closely related to your socioeconomic status. But once you demonstrate that, okay, you're of a different socioeconomic status, then you're treated differently immediately. You're included. And you see that throughout the Americas. So, I hope that answered your question as far as what it's like. But more, the thing that's most important is who gives what those other people, if they're thinking lowly of you because of your skin color, they don't know you, they haven't interacted with you, they don't know how you love, they don't know how you fight, they don't know what your beliefs are. How could their opinion matter? You don't even know them either to know if their opinion even is worth something. As far as like violence towards you, I haven't had any violence towards me based on my race. I don't know of a history of police brutality towards people of color in that country. I feel pretty good there. So I don't walk around looking for how I'm going to be treated racially. I just let people treat me however they treat me, and I treat them with the same energy, and that's how I deal with that. I'm going to go for another 13 minutes. We are insanely overpriced stateside compared to most of the world. What do you see trending as far as medical staffing goes? Medical staffing will continue to evolve and develop. The largest population of large demographic of people in our population, the baby boomers, are hitting their retirement years. A lot of them are medical professionals. A lot of them need medical attention. There's going to be a higher demand for medical services in this country for the next 15 years or so. So that's going to be an increase in home health care. There's going to be an increase in skilled nursing facility care. There's going to be an increase in treatment for this population while that population is moving towards retirement. So the people are going to be needed to fill those jobs. Nurses have always been in shortage here. There's a shortage of physicians. There's a shortage of higher quality healthcare professionals, and that varies from city to city. Plus, with COVID, you got people who are leaving the industry, so it's creating different vacancies. So I think the future looks pretty good. Sly G, you're welcome. What's a sea wolf? Yeah, man. Sly, I'm not sure. Were we in college together? I don't know if I know you or not, based on your blank avatar. But yeah, it's good to see. It's always good to see other people from Stony Brook, man. Because you share a similar story in some capacity. Do you do any deals strictly for cash flow? 80% of my portfolio I keep for cash flow. I only flip like 20% of my projects, and that's just to create working capital and like fun money, I would say. I don't like selling properties. I prefer to buy and hold. I like to build my net worth. I like to have my assets paid down and paid off by other people. I like the cash flow. I like the depreciation that real estate offers flipping real estate to other people is freaking annoying, in my opinion. Buyers are so, oh my God, they're so picky. And then there's so many people who are involved. You have the agents, the attorneys, the family members. I freaking hate selling properties. So I definitely don't like to sell them. I'm mostly a cash flow investor. And that answers that. Max Lee Fox, appreciate your time, bro. Stay safe. Hope your partner gets citizenship and you guys are out the door to the world. Take care. I'll be in and out, man. I'll be in and out. Thank you for that. I hope to meet you when you return to Musameli. It's a great little village. Tonya? Yeah. You know what? Are you in Musameli now? Do you live there? I lost my job. Should I close my 401k and withdraw my money? Yeah, and after you do that, give it to me. I don't know if you should do that, man. You know your situation. Maybe you should. I don't know. What is your, first of all, what is your profession? Right? What is your profession? What is your age? How much 401k money are we talking about? How much do you need until you get another job? You withdraw your money, you're going to get penalized and you're going to get taxed heavy. So it might make more sense out of all scenarios to potentially take a loan against your 401k, right? That way you're not going to get penalized. You're not going to get taxed. It's a loan. And then you repay that back to yourself. Okay. That would be my suggestion there. You're welcome. And then, like, it's a Moana. Actions speak louder than words. When people have skin in the game, people tend to be far more motivated. Exactly. This is exactly why. Do you have a mentor or learn as you go? I have an invest and learn program where you get mentored by investing alongside me. You learn everything. We have weekly meetings, sometimes bi-weekly meetings. We tour the properties, we work together, we go over all the documents together, we share resources, we share my credit, we share my lenders, we share my access to capital, my crews, my team. So that's what we get. Would you advise someone who is looking to invest and buy property with everything that's going on with COVID-19, thinking on Airbnb and rental properties overseas with the travel being down? Yeah. What I advise people to do is make the best decisions they can for themselves. With that being said, I don't know the future. My card is full. So that means that we're going to end soon because I don't think I could keep this on. Let me see what I could do here. I'm going to switch cameras. So quality is going to change just so I could close out. I got 7 more minutes to go. So we get this view. Okay, so different quality. I prefer the quality of my DSLR, but I've been recording for an hour and a half, so it's full. Yeah, so when you're making a decision to invest in Airbnb, you gotta look at all the information that's available to you, right? If you look at it from the perspective of ask Carl and how are you making your decisions on your own? I'd rather you be able to make competent decisions on your own. You might look and see that in that city, Airbnb trends are still okay. Like I'm doing okay in my New York properties now, even though travel is down. I'm making maybe 30% less than what I used to make because I used to do about $135 a night. Now it's like $105. But my bookings are up again. I'm setting up another Airbnb in Carmel, New York, in one of my properties. I had in contract mortgage commitment. This guy gets cold feet, backs out, done. So I turned it into an Airbnb. So I just started furnishing it. I'll probably talk about that project a little more. And I'm estimated to earn about 4,000 a month in income on that property. My debt obligations and whatever is going to be about 2,800 a month. Maybe after cleaning fees and all that stuff, I might clear 1,000, maybe $1,200. I don't know. So that's what is projected. So you need to look at, I think there's a website called AirDNA. Look at AirDNA. Look at what Airbnb says for that neighborhood. See how much you can make. What is the occupancy rate's going to be? Pull up what's available to you. You could also do Flipkey, VBRO, or whatever that other site is. Airbnb is the most popular, but there's other sites that are trafficked. You could probably even put it on bookings. So that increases your traffic. So people at this point are starting to travel again. People are tired of being home. I traveled to Brazil. I stayed in like 4 different Airbnbs. That's me. I had an Airbnb check-in and check-out today in New York City. So, like I said, I'm doing fine. I'm booked out for the rest of the month. And then November is pretty booked. December, I'm booked solid. January, I'm booked into the 3rd week of January. So you really have to decide how much money you're looking to make. Is that market able to tolerate it? And you need to know that market overseas. Maybe if this is your first Airbnb transaction, you have to kind of approach it thinking that it's going to be a total loss. That's how I do it. Is this going to be a complete bust? And can I deal with that? If you can't deal with the loss, then you shouldn't take the risk. All right. If you can't deal with the loss of the 5,000, 10,000, whatever amount of thousands it's going to take you to set up, then don't start it. Just do something else, because you're going to be stressed out. It's not going to be worth it for you. But if you're going to start with Airbnb, you might want to start locally, right? Closer to you, so it's more manageable, more comfortable. And then as you get more confident, then you take on more risks, just like learning how to swim, right? You get your little kickboard, you get comfortable floating, then you swimming without the kickboard, you progress and you go into deeper and deeper water. You don't have to try to compare yourself to me or other people on the internet who, if you're finding us, we've been doing this for a while, right? We're more advanced. So you don't compare yourself to day, 10,000 Carl. Compare yourself to, day 1 Carl. What would I have done? I would have just looked around, asked questions, and then I would like, F it, man, I'm going to do it. And then I would have either lost money, like most of my other ventures that lost. The majority of the things that I've tried, I've lost on. I did a $80,000 investment in Colombia, total loss on an Airbnb. And why? I didn't follow my original plan. That's the lesson I learned there. My original plan would have made me at least some money up until the point that it failed. Would have failed anyway due to this COVID stuff. I got my freaking office space business that's getting kicked in the balls. I lost another tenant today. I had another major tenant who announced this is his last month. I'm probably down to like 30% occupancy. I'm going to have to give up that part of my portfolio, and it was a significant piece. So, you have to be able to tolerate those losses before you even get started and know what you're dealing with. I graduated with my bachelor's in BIA, a Bachelor's of Science in Psychology. Man, I feel sorry for you. You can't do anything with that. Honestly, I'm not gonna even sugarcoat it. I hate seeing people in your situation, mainly because people go to college and get psychology degrees, sociology degrees, even a business degree. What does a business degree teach you? Economics degree? What are you going to do with that? Especially on a bachelor's level. I recommend that when people go to college, they leave college with a licensed profession, that you're leaving with a skill set that is required for a job. When you get a psychology major, that doesn't make you a psychologist. No, no, no. You need to get your master's, most likely get your PhD, get that clinical background, and then you start working as a psychologist. A psychology, man, this is going to sound pretty ruthless, but it's my opinion. A psychology degree in today's market is like a high school diploma in 1990. Meaning, if that's not what's going to get you a job. I think if you're looking to position yourself for work, that don't even think about that psychology degree being anything that's going to add value to your resume. Put it on there. Obviously, that's something that you earned, but you need to demonstrate to your potential employers in whatever industry you're interested in that you have some value and some skills that can be used in that environment. And you're going to need to be able to quantify that and show how you as the employee have made an impact in previous organizations with those skills. For example, you're good on, oh my God, I'm burping like a savage. Sorry. You have good social media skills and you grew your social media following, your personal social media following from 1,000 to 15,000 in 1 year's time. And in that 1 year's time, and then with that growth, you were able to monetize that following in some way, right? You should be able to show that you're proficient in that social media platform with the ability to monetize with proven growth strategies that you could scale beyond the 15,000 mark, and that you can do the same thing for them, right? If you're applying for like a social media manager job or something along those lines, you're going to need to be able to demonstrate value in what you do. If you're just a role player, people are going to pick the role player with relevant experience for that role, not because you got a degree in something that is completely unrelated to that job. Yeah. Sorry. You know what I mean? What skills do you have? Natural born talents, and what skills have you developed? That's important. And knowing how those skills and talents, how to make them sing on your resume for whatever position it is that you're applying for. Miss Ray Ray, I went to Stony Brook too. Small world. I graduated in 2006. Only thing holding me back. Only thing holding me back. Oh, you let me see. I went to Stony Brook too. Only thing holding me back from moving to Paris, just said, is that I'm transitioning into tech now. Should be done in 5 months after this tech boot camp. Okay. I wonder if we ever cross paths there, because I was there from 2001 to like 2008. Took the scenic route. Yeah, I'm about to close out here. Nice pants. Do you think there's a real estate market crash correction coming for 20? I don't know. It seems pretty likely. Market's been going straight up for freaking years now. It's like since like 2012. I feel like things have been going in an upward trend. And things have gotten pretty wild lately. So that's usually how it looks before things crash and correct, but I don't know. What difference does it make? What are you going to do if it, what are you going to do if it crashes? What are you going to do if it doesn't? How are your actions going to change if you had that information that the market is going to crash? What are you going to do? And if you had the information that it wasn't going to crash, what are you going to do? right? What matters is that you make the best decision that you can with what's right in front of you. That's the only thing I could advise. Right now, interest rates are extremely low, inventory is low. That's pushing the market. Interest rates start to creep up, inventory starts to creep up, overall market crashes, the market's freaking strong. It's kind of hard to say. I think it's always like this before a crash. We had this weird coronavirus crash recently. Fed pumped in trillions of dollars into the economy, inflated it real quick. I don't know what to say. The only thing I could say is I'm making money right now. And if I continue to buy prudently, using the same, logic that I've always used, I should be fine, even when it corrects. I'm buying on the way up. I'm buying as it's coming down. I just keep buying the best deals I can at that time. Keep it at under 70%, 80% in bigger markets, because you're not going to get certain deals at 70% in certain markets. She might be able to teach English teach in the USA, I guess, or she can, or he can teach English in another country. I know that's back to the point of today. When you're moving to another country, one of the common jobs that you can find in relocating to Brazil, Italy, etc., as an American, if you're concerned about, are you going to make money, yes or no, one of the things that you can do is actually actually get a job as an English teacher in an American style school or in an English style school, or even supplementary English lessons. You're college educated, you're a native American speaker, you could monetize that in that way if you're willing to leave the country. I assume that you're looking for a job here, but maybe because we're talking about relocating, that might be what you're asking. I'm sorry. You mentioned the potential losses with real estate investing. My question to you is, how do you hedge your real estate portfolio to minimize your losses? It's not that complicated, man. Buy the best quality properties you can buy under market value, things that are going to cash flow, and put the best tenants you possibly could find. I tend to put tenants in my homes that have kind of like recession-proof sort of jobs. I like healthcare professionals. I like transportation. I like people who are working in energy and utilities. Those people tend to be sticky. I like tradesmen, electricians, plumbers. These are people who will always find work, people who need help. I don't really like purely administrative folks, marketing folks. They tend to even buy. So I don't really hedge. I just try to get the best quality tenants I can and the best quality real estate I can in that particular area. I don't think about COVID. Like I don't even want to see the word COVID again in my life. I don't think about those sort of things because these are anomalies that you cannot predict for or try to hedge for, etc. You just have to eat. For me, I eat what life offers me. Right? Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, or you make, I don't know, lemon meringue pie or whatever it is. You have to adapt to what's in front of you. You could try to plan for the future, but there's no guarantee. You can't correct the past. So all you could do is say, in the here and now, this makes the most sense. I got a great deal during COVID era on this property because less people were shopping or less people were looking. There was uncertainty in the market. I had cash. I got it. Bam. Best decision I could have made. That was a property I picked up in Fort Lauderdale. $600,000 cash decision. Hard money lenders were frozen. Other investors were frozen, not sure what was going on. I saw the value there. I said, I'm scooping this up. I'm getting this property for land costs. A 3-family house, land in that neighborhood for that same property costs the same price. instantly buying that in the middle of the crisis. So you can't look at it that way. What I am doing, I'm liquidating a lot of, like, I'm selling a lot of my properties now, not my cash flowing rental properties, but properties that I was looking to flip. They're all in the market now. I'm trying to get out of all of them while interest rates are low, while people are buying, while inventory is low. I'm just pushing them out. I'm hoping to close out all of them by the end of the year. With that money that I sure up, I still have my rental portfolio that's spinning off its cash. I'll have more cash on hand. I'm refinancing that triplex that is being featured on this channel, and then I'll have, you know, probably about 1.2 million in cash when all that is liquidated for me to think about what I'm going to do next. And that's a good position to be in because I could do probably like $5 million worth of purchases with that. I could wait. I could see if there is a crash in 2021, but I'm still going to keep looking for the best possible deal. And I don't put all my capital in one deal at a time, because if that deal goes belly up, then I lost my capital. So I try to, that's my way of, it's not a hedge because I'm not investing in some sort of alternative to, I don't have any options or puts against the housing market or something like that, where, so I could only diversify how I'm investing my real estate money into real estate, and what sort of things that I will do and what kind of projects I'll take on. Uh, People look down on associate's degrees in tech schools, but brown sugar, babe. People look down on associate degrees in tech schools, but these people at least have a job in demand with it. Listen, I went to college for health technology and management. Got my degree in that. Studied radiological technology to be an X-ray tech. Got my CT certification. Got my MR certification or additional training for MR. And I could have done that in a 2-year college or even a hospital-based program and not gone to college. Now, I would have been working a job, but I would have gotten some of the skills that I got from college, from being in a fraternity, being in an organization, being in that environment, meeting the people that I did. It would probably be different. But those trade schools and those associate programs, if you're doing things that you're going to get a job afterwards, it's a good, if you're looking to go to an institution of higher learning, you better be freaking getting a job. Or unless you just want to learn stuff. If you just want to learn psychology, cool. But if you're thinking I'm going to parlay this into a career, you got to make better career choices. Work in dentistry. Or you just put them under and not have to hear them at all. Hell no. I don't trade Forex. I don't trade Forex. Listen, what I hate, there's a few things I hate about Forex, and I keep talking, but there's a few things I hate about Forex. One, the low cost to enter that market. It's highly leveraged, and it's attractive to people with little money. Bad idea, in my opinion, right? Because I look at the majority of Forex traders that I meet, they're trying to turn $2,000 into $200,000 trading Forex. That would make them the wizard trader of all times. That doesn't really happen that way. And also, that strategy that potentially could turn 2,000 to 200,000 is not scalable to $1 billion, for example. Just like my trading strategy, I don't think I would ever have more than $5 million exposed trading the way that I do, because position, like if I had $1 million position in something that's only trading 500,000 shares a day, I wouldn't want to have to liquidate that in a short period of time. And I need to be in and out of transactions quickly. So I'd rather have like things that are 5,000, 10,000 share positions. But Forex, I do not like, because of that. It's attractive to people with low money who don't understand, who don't even have the money to really be investing in a marketplace. And then it kind of gets them to take on way too much risk to make money. Because let's just say you made 10% on $2,000 in a year. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has like average 10% a year, or like 11%. And that's outstanding over like a 40-year run. That's outstanding. That's Warren Buffett, the greatest ever. 11%, 10%. Ray Dalio, same thing. 10% is outstanding. If you're making 10% a year on your $2,000 portfolio, that's only $200, right? You could buy a Spirit flight New York to Fort Lauderdale in low season. Because of that, it's not attractive. If you had $2 million and you made the same 10%, $200,000 a year is a good wage. 20 million is 2 million. 2 billion, 200 million. You get what I'm saying? Then it starts getting sexy. But when you have that small money and you're trying to make 10%, you're like, nah, man, I need to make 5,000%. I gotta have that $100,000 a year on this $2,000 or whatever, 500%. It would be 5,000%. That's ridiculous. And then you have all these Forex bots preying on these undercapitalized people, trying to get them to trade Forex with this illusion that they're going to freaking knock it out the park and make tons and tons of money. It's just not real. And there's also no licensing for Forex to get that large leverage. Like if you're a prop trader, you got to take your licensing exam to work in a broker dealer and get that 50-to-1 leverage in the US at least. So what's the barrier to entry? What's the protections for people who are trading Forex that don't know any better? That's why I don't like Forex and I don't advocate for it. The Big O Experience is a nice name. I didn't know how strong your NY accent is. Yeah, you have to sometimes practice it practice it out of your vocabulary. How about buying more in Italy? Right now, I'm only keeping my 2 properties. I'm looking at Brazil. That's probably the next deal I'm going to do is in Brazil. Then after Brazil, it's either Spain or Greece. Actually, I had a conversation with one of my business partners today about Baltimore. I think Baltimore can be attractive. Close to DC. You got people migrating out of DC because of DC's highest cost. Baltimore has always been kind of rough. Maybe it turns, over time. It's about an hour out of DC. So people who are working for the government want that. Panama is cool, but very dollarized. And since it's dollarized, I don't think you get as good value there. I really like South America. Colombia, I like. Brazil, I like. I've heard good things about Argentina and Chile. I haven't been there yet. But the thing is, there's cities that are well developed in those countries that you could live a really good life cheaper than I think you can in Panama. There's people who go to Panama from South America just to work and earn kind of on that dollar equivalent part-time, just like they come to the US. There's less restrictions for people going from South America to Panama than South America to the US to work. So they may go there, work off the books, construction, whatever, earn in that dollar equivalent, and then go back to their country, and they got the right idea. Live 6 months in a high earning country and then live and work there, and then live 6 months in their low spend country and live a good life. But that's my opinion on Panama. I visited Panama once. Not really for me. So that's my opinion on that. But I guess you're the Panama property guru. What are your thoughts? I'm going to give this 11 minutes. I'm going to take it for the full 2 hours today. I'm in a good mood, so we're gonna keep talking as long as questions keep coming in. But I'm gonna do the hard stop at 2 hours because I need to get myself to sleep. Late to the party, but if you move internationally, hell yeah. If I move internationally, would I still trade in the US market? Of course. Think about something. Last month I put up I think 20,000. The month before that I think I did 14,000. The month before that probably around 11 to 14,000. This month I'm only up like 7 or 8,000. I should be up about 27,000, but I took a monster loss when Donald Trump came out with his coronavirus shenanigans. I was in way too much Amazon and got palpezied. So I'm up about 8,000. Now, this is just, like I said, income stream number 3. I know that I can extract on any given day $300 out of the market. If I'm really patient, I just take one freaking day trade, $300 I could probably pull out on any given day. That's $6,000 a month. I do more than that currently, and I keep my account at 160,000 just for clarification. 160,000. I typically trade 2-to-1 margin, so I'll have about $320,000 exposure at any given time if I'm fully invested to make that 20 grand, right? So actually, right now I only have 80 because I had to move some money out. So I'm at 50% my usual amount, and I'm up 10% on my 80,000. There's no reason why, as long as I don't have a freaking internet connection, that I won't be trading the US markets, because that allows me to earn in US dollars any freaking place I am and fund my account. If I'm up 4,000, like I think I'm up 4,000 today. I'm gonna tell you right now because I've been saying what the day is and whatever and talking about trading, and I haven't quite spoken about it. But being as someone who wants to live an international lifestyle, since that's kind of what we're talking about, right? Ways that you can make money in your international lifestyle is from your real estate rental income and the cash flow from that. You could invest in real estate and even flip real. If you set up your flipping operation where you're making your decision to buy and not buy a property, right? And you have a project manager, you have your contractors, you have people who could go be the eyes and ears, and you're able to pay them, and you're doing it at enough volume. You could do that anywhere in the world. I could continuously flip. I'm flipping real estate in New York from here, and I'm doing real estate deals locally. So you could do that anywhere. Trading is even simpler because it's just you, a laptop, internet, and you can make your decisions right there and extract money to live your life. Airbnb also is kind of travel and tourism. You could have heavy investments in farming, animal proteins, where you own, I don't know, you buy $30,000 of middle-aged cattle, right? That at let's just say you bought $30,000 worth. It's I don't know how many tons of beef. When that beef grows up and doubles in size in its maturing year, that beef is going to be worth $60,000. What do? Slaughter the beef. You've doubled your money for that year's time. Reinvest your $30,000 into the cattle. Now you have $30,000 to live on in Colombia, and you're doing okay just off of a $30,000 investment. But stock trading, I think it's like it's pretty important that I think if you know what you're doing, it should be part of your game plan, no matter where you are. So on the day, I'm up $3,129. A lot of that came from my Google trade. I've got some Google calls. I liquidated some of that today. The rest is just like little gains on the day. And today was kind of a weekday, but Google was actually strong. Market is kind of still holding on this 11,600 level. and it's been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 day pull in, 3 days holding this level. I feel like things could turn. They might be waiting for the big tech names to report to see exactly where we're at. We got an election coming up. The market just may stagnate. So I'm not going to really take on that much risk for the rest of the month. Just because I feel like the market's not going to do anything until they see who the next president is and how the big tech companies report. Okay, 5 minutes to go. Let me just kind of bust this out. Rapid fire question and answer. All right, so the last question I'm answering is this Jonathan one. And then that's it. And I'm out of here. So Baltimore's a mess. I wouldn't live in Baltimore even if you paid me. That's a good sign. It's probably going to change, because usually people who know those areas and they're like, oh, I can't see it. I've been saying that about Bushwick, Brooklyn for years. And Bushwick has been doing nothing but going up because I still have like this idea of what Bushwick was, back in the days. And I missed all of Bushwick, all of Bed-Stuy, all of that. So maybe Baltimore is going to be the move for real. Miller's Garden. I purchased 2 parcels of land. My sister is forcing me to sell. Should I sell? How's your sister forcing you to sell? Get out of here with that. Have you considered South Africa or Africa in general? I haven't visited any country in Africa. And I can't say that I've considered or not considered it if I've never been there and I've never felt what it's like to be there. I don't know what the infrastructure is like. I don't know what it feels like. I don't know what the economy is like. I have it on my list to go. I want to go to Morocco. I want to go to South Africa. I want to go to Cape Verde. I want to see Ghana. There's a lot of places I want to see. But I really don't know. Haven't been there. Thoughts about investing in Greece? I will. So I'm looking to pick up a property either in Mykonos or Santorini, obviously for the tourism money. Those markets are pretty hot. But when economies take downturns like this, you could really take advantage. So there's a little like town. So Ia is like the main focus of Santorini. That's where like the volcano edges and where you have all the little lagoons and all that like when you see pictures of people vacationing in Greece, it's Ia, Santorini. Right outside of Ia is another little town that's like vineyards, and there's like even these rubble caves, that broken down stuff. I want to buy something there and restore it because it's so close to Ia, and like you might spend $400 minimum a night if you're staying in Ia, up to like, up, it goes up from there. But in this town that's walking distance to main Ia, where you can see the sunset, see everything, see the water, is probably like 15 minutes walking. I stayed in that town on Airbnb, paid $200 a night for a 1-bedroom little cave apartment. And I was like, yo, I should do this. And that was like maybe 7 years ago. So that's been on my mind. So when I do Greece, it's going to be something like that. Or there's like these little, kind of like my property in Italy, in Mykonos town that are abandoned, like little maisonettes. They might only be 70 square meters, 60 square meters, 2 bedrooms over like a little living area. I definitely would do one of those too. Cool. I'm gonna definitely like Chile. Chile sounds cool. I've never been there, but I always hear good things. Gregory Jones, what kind of tips do you have for me as an investor directly pitching offers to absentee owners? Talk to them honestly and know what you want to pay, and be honest with them and say, hey, based on property condition, based on my strategy, this is how much I would pay for that. You don't have to insult their property. It's their home. They're typically going to be sensitive to that. Just talk to them and say, I'm a buyer. I buy in this neighborhood. I buy at this price point. Is there something that would be attractive to you? The thing about me is I'm quick to close. I buy in this condition because I usually renovate them up, so you don't have to worry about fixes and stupid things coming up in the inspection. Just level with them. Be honest. You know what you want to pay. If they don't want to sell to you, that's not. There's no reason that there's no like twisting of people's arms. I don't do that. I tell people this is what I want to pay. If they sell it to me at that price because they're happy to get that money, then that's what it is. I don't try to down talk them on their house and tell them it's going to be difficult for them to sell. You know, I mean, people have their different strategies. I just talk. Okay, one more question for Ant, and that's it. All right. Hey, I'm Jonathan, and I've been trying to get my first property in 2021. I've been working, you're welcome, Gregory. I've been working in construction with mentors and real estate sales for the past year and a half. Still haven't found my first deal, but want to. Cool. Keep at it. I don't know why you haven't found your deal. Are you really looking to buy something, or you haven't found it because you're not ready to pull the trigger on that? You know, I find that people who have that similar experience, it's not really that they haven't found a deal. It's either they're not really looking, or they're just talking themselves out of any deal that potentially has come their way. So is that you? And if it is, be honest with yourself and stop saying that you haven't found a deal, and start saying that I'm undercapitalized or I'm afraid or whatever. And if you're being mentored, are you being mentored by investors, or are you being like, I'm not sure about that, but maybe you should do a deal with whoever's mentoring you. That way you that's why I designed my program the way I did. You invest and learn, you're doing it with somebody that usually being in the water with the lifeguard, right? Being in the water with somebody who's going to protect you or take the risk with you or drown with you, whatever happens, makes you more secure when it's time for you to go out on your own. So if your mentor isn't allowing you to invest with them or doing deals with you, then really how are they? How they're just schooling you, talking to you? You still gotta pull the trigger, right? You still have to take that action. You still have to put your money at risk. So if you're going to be dealing with a mentor, make sure it's a mentor that's going to invest with you and do a deal with you, because at least that way you get exposure and you start to build the confidence that you need to go out and do it on your own, right? Eventually, that's what your goal is. Where you're getting mentored, you're either going to partner with them for life and just continue to work together if there's a good synergy there, or you're going to branch out on your own and do things your way after you found what your way is. And for the final question, Ant, with our final two questions. One, do you plan on doing an options trading course? No. Also, if I were to invest in the 2K course, how long do you think it will be before I begin to turn a profit? Entirely up to you as to when do you start making your investments, and do you make the right investments? Just because you took my course doesn't mean that you start to turn a profit. You would need to do something with that information, and you need to do the right thing with that information. So if somebody took the course, I'm seeing people finish the course, like as far as length, in about 3 months. Hour here, a week between sessions. It's 14 videos, 15 hours long. So it's an hour course, homework assignment. That homework assignment sometimes is doable in one day. It's usually doable in like one of the assignments is pretty hefty because you need to build your team. So that might take you weeks to complete. But the other assignments start to take you like days to weeks to complete if you're doing it right. So by the end of that, it might be about 3 or 4 months. And then it's up to you to start shopping and finding a deal. I would say in total, before learning learning, researching, finding the right deal, getting your money together, maybe a year's time, year, 15 months, something like that, to be realistic. When I short story and I'm out. When I bought into a scam program actually. It's called the National Grant Conference. They sold a book that claimed to have all the free money you can imagine that the government has available to you, and they did. It was the information was there. That's where I found the FHA 203k program. I bought that into that program in like October or November. I remember it was right around the crash of 2008 and Obama was being elected. I spent $2,000 on that course and I closed on my first FHA deal and the only FHA deal that I've done in March of 2009, a property in Stony Brook. I had two other deals before then, also in Stony Brook. One that I participated in as a small investor. The other was a group deal that we did, same group. We ended up submitting that. We took a deed in lieu of foreclosure because one of the partners was a loser and decided that's what he wanted to do. And so that's probably the only deal that we've lost or I've participated in that was like a disaster. Then it was this property with a 203k. So you're talking about I already had experience with that. I had experience working in construction. I was comfortable with investing. I had the money to do something, and I went from October, November to in contract in January, closing in March, and I completed that project in June of 2009 and started to lease it up for July. So if you look at that timeline, if you're a quick mover and well positioned, then you're looking at 6 to 9 months. If you're more normal paced, it might be 12 to 15 months. So that's what I would guess, but it really depends on you. As far as returning the profit piece, that's on you, man. You need to make the right investment, right decision. You can't take my course, buy something at market price, try to renovate it and sell it for even more than the market can command because you just want to do a deal. You're not going to make money that way. You follow the steps, you invest smart, you do your proper research, you're going to make your money. Now, just to close out, I doubt that there's going to be anybody who joined in on this live, the replay, and watches from beginning to end. Because we were talking about Brazil. And this is a good learning lesson for me, so I don't get off of my topic. I'm leaving the United States because the quality of life in other countries for the money that I'm spending is much, much better. Brazil and most of South America and most of all the Romance derived or Romance language or Latin language or Roman Empire derivative countries really have an appreciation for living life, which is love, fun, happiness. More so than they do, I guess, in the English colonies like the United States, Canada, Australia, and England, right? I felt good in those countries. I like the people. I like the interactions. I like the vibe. Don't really like the earning potential there. I'd rather earn my money in the United States. But that's the reason why I'm out. I don't like the politics here. Never have, never will. It has nothing to do with DT, nothing to do with Biden, none of that crap. I just don't like the politics here. I don't like the history here. I love my country, but I don't like certain things about it, and I don't want to even deal with that. I don't like the work-life balance here. So I found other places that make me feel good. but I also feel good at times when I'm here because this is home. So for me, it's all about aligning all of my income sources to allow me to do the sort of things that I find cool. Flying, hopefully my Pilatus PC-12, in and out of these countries with my family, with my friends, rotating through my properties, rotating through other countries, accumulating more real estate, opening more posadas, opening more boutique hotels, opening little restaurants, um, continuously documenting and filming my life, learning new things, learning new languages, uh, living as an artist, knocking out my bucket list. That's what I should be doing for the rest of my life, from 40 to death, right? That's the plan. So right now, this idea of moving to another country is just me trying to develop myself and be in the moment as much as I can. And for those of you who are considering the same, I recommend learning how to invest in something in the United States so that you could consistently earn in dollars. Because for my lifetime, the dollar has been a fairly stable currency, especially against other world currencies, especially in these other countries that tend to offer a better cost of living. Get your money in USD, either by providing a service like your job, negotiating with your boss to work remotely, right? You're right. Most of us are working remotely anyway. Negotiate with your boss to work remotely. Even a wage reduction in exchange for that privilege. You're making, $100,000 a year, and you're saying, hey, you know what? With 70, I'll be just fine in Colombia. They might take you up on that deal because you need to be here for quarterly meetings or once a month. Even come up once a month for your meeting. $500 flight at $6,000 a year on 64,000 in Colombia. You're chilling. So look at how you can earn money. You can earn money through your job by just relocating and taking a pay cut, or not even a pay cut, whatever you can negotiate. You can earn it from real estate investing, whether you're cash flowing on rental properties or flipping properties abroad. There's even people who wholesale abroad. You can earn it on Airbnb, as I discussed here before. You can earn money through trading activity, like trading the stock market. Forex, if you're inclined. Crypto, if you like that sort of thing and you're good at it. At least you could earn your money that way. And you could even start businesses within those countries, or even work as an English teacher in those countries. Cost, you're not going to earn that much. That's a trade-off. One thing I've been thinking about doing for people who are looking to relocate to Colombia is that I might start working with people on a relocation plan, because I'm building out a workforce in Colombia to support my businesses in the United States, cheaper labor. But I would like to work with some people who are native English speakers, especially for sales positions. So I might be offering jobs that are above average for that neighborhood or that city, so that they're living a comfortable life. Let's just say it's like $2,000 a month or $1,500 a month. $2,000 a month, like I said, you live in a comparable middle class to upper middle class lifestyle there. Especially as a single in Colombia, $2,000 a month, you're chilling. So I could pay somebody with proven sales experience $2,000 a month. They're still hammering the phones. They're still getting me leads, whatever. But I could start building a community around this idea of global arbitrage and living abroad. What's going on, Gene? See, this is my boy. We started trading around the same time. And he could tell you day trading is dead, bro. At least for me, and definitely for him. He's moved on to exclusively swing trading. And we've always talked about breaking out of the US or moving into lower tax regions. And this is one of my friends. He invests alongside me. We do real estate transactions together. He's actually the one who brought the idea of getting the first house in Stony Brook. So that's my boy Gene, and forever grateful. And these are and this is something that's important as far as who's in your circle and who's Who are your friends? I could go out with Gene, Noel, my other boy, Emmanuel, who's my partner in real estate as well. And our conversation is going to be around how are we improving our financial situation? How are we offsetting our taxes? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? What have we heard? Trading information, trading money, making strategies. And you need to have friends like that in your life. And absolutely, I feel safe. You know, if you stay away from crime and you're not out there doing wild things, you're gonna be okay. You start looking for drugs, you start looking for trouble, trouble's gonna find you. That's exactly what's gonna happen. But I feel safe. The only thing in certain, like, you're walking around in Brazil, somebody might pickpocket you. You know, petty crime like that, no different than in Rome or New York City. Um, somebody might snatch your cell phone. No different than I'm on the train in Manhattan and I'm sitting around with, giving papaya with my with my cell phone in my hand. Some youngster just grabs it and is able to resell that phone for $500. You got. Those things happen. But as far as like violent crime, murder, rape, just random, that's not going to happen to you. You know what I mean? Unless you go out there looking for it. Not not that anybody's out there looking to get raped. I don't think that happens like that. What I'm saying is, for you, if you're roaming around at night by yourself as a man, my risk isn't going to be rape. My risk might be robbery, right? Somebody bugging me. Woman walking around late night by herself, it might be robbery and rape, right? Because men are sick. So if you know that's a risk anywhere in the world, you just don't do those sort of things. You're not walking around by yourself drunk at 2 a.m. Something's gonna happen to you. You either fall asleep on the street, get robbed, get hit by a bus, something like that. So that's that. But if you're really thinking about relocating to another country, there's no better time than now. The US dollar is strong. A lot of foreign currencies are weak. There's many ways for you to monetize yourself, your skill sets online. You have sites like Fiverr, Upwork. You could work as an English teacher. You can invest in the markets. You can invest in the United States and earn money. Your jobs are comfortable with you working remotely. There's no better time than now. Cost of living in South America, you could get it done for $2,000 a month. Family of four. I'll stand by that to the very end. You're talking about an apartment. You're talking about food, help, automobile, $2,000 a month. You can make it happen. The more you're making, the better and better your lifestyle becomes. So as I continue to document the journey on the type of properties I'm picking up internationally, I will always be sharing exactly how much things cost. What is the cost of living there? If you even check out my series on Italy, I do a video with Davo. He's in Italy right now. He's an American dude, moved to Italy, fell in love with a girl. He's there. He's investing in real estate. He talks about the numbers how much money he makes. He talks about how much it costs to live. And then I had a comment where somebody else shared their living expenses. This week's video, I told you, looking up numbeo.com, checking out Nomad List, you could get real data of how much things cost. All you need to do is figure out the best path for you to make your money and take the chance. Even if it's 6 months, 6 months could be the confirmation that you needed to make the change, or the confirmation that you needed that America's home for you. At least you're not going to be playing that what if game. What if I, moved to Brazil when I was staying that way? Would I have found love? Would I have found happiness? You don't want to be thinking that when you're 80, right? There's no time machines. We can't go back. So I think now is a good time. Think about it. Think about other places. And I'm going to continue on this series. Next week, I'm covering some real estate stuff. So it'll be another property that I finished out. I really like how this video is coming out. Walk through before and after. And then we're going to be talking real estate next week and also prepping for that webinar. And if you see, it's clearly that way. It's like I'm talking about real estate to talk about my webinar to enroll people into that program and that course, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm not, there's no secret to that. So the information I'm releasing is related to that and building up to that point. So those of you who are really thinking about being an expat, moving abroad, you might as well do it. Spend a year in France, spend a year in China, spend a year in Brazil, spend a year in Colombia, spend a year in Mexico, spend a year living on the beach and thinking is beach life really for you for retirement, right? You can knock that one. Pina coladas on the beach. Yeah, 2 weeks, you're going to be bored of that. You're going to be in the inner city somewhere, moving and shaking with people, learning the local dances, local songs, completely different life. You're packing as we speak. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining me here on another edition of ENTP Life. This is just my first live like this. I like them. It gives me an opportunity to talk to you, see what people are thinking, kind of dispel, wild ideas. And as always, any kind of feedback that I give is, for your ears and for anybody else's ears. If you like this, make sure you hit that like button. There's only, I think, 3 likes. Stingy people. Like these videos, man. Please hit the like button. That it helps it get circulated, helps my channel get discovered. You pay them. That's just it. You just pay your taxes, man. And if you cannot pay taxes and you work with your accountants to figure out the best tax strategy for you in your scenario, but pay your taxes. I mean, we don't like them. Yeah, don't be stingy with the likes, man. Here it says 3. So I'm it's looking stingy. So whatever, hit the like button some more. But yeah, share this with whoever you think could benefit from it. I like this. It gives me the chance to talk and engage with you guys. Also, if you have ideas, bring them to me. Sometimes, you never know who's gonna plant the new seed for you. So if you guys have things that you're trying to explore, like Baltimore, or you've heard of some sort of program, like my boy Gene was telling me about the program in Puerto Rico that was like that allowed you to pretty much evade taxes by relocating to Puerto Rico, right? There was like some tax haven that was being established in Puerto Rico. And it was an article that he read, and I started looking into it. Right before I came to Fort Lauderdale, I went to Puerto Rico to decide whether or not I was going to live in Puerto Rico. And then I decided I really don't think Puerto Rico is going to feel like home to me. And then I chose Fort Lauderdale because of location, because of infrastructure differences. And, you know what I mean? And it was almost Puerto Rico that I would have been living in right now. All right, guys. Afia Bella is an accountant. You guys might want to connect somehow, email, something like that. His question was, how do you deal with taxes in the States and other countries? Depends on where your income's coming from and what are you claiming as your income. I think I'm going to cross that path when I'm living there, and I'll see what the implications are, and I'll report it on my own end. But thank you guys. Enjoy. Sorry we got off on a tangent like this. An hour and a half or 2 hours of answering questions. So we're probably going to talk more Brazil when the Brazil videos come out. So hopefully those lives are more focused. And thank you again. Have a good night, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, grown folk, everything. Bye.